lived a little boy named Rohan. Notice how it immediately sets up a very safe, happy status quo. It's comforting. But then, bam, it immediately introduces the conflict. Today is his very first day of school. The script actually explicitly notes that Rohan is not excited. He feels nervous, scared, and a little shy. By starting in that place of absolute safety, the introduction of his fear just hits so much harder.
Let's break down the pacing here, because it is incredibly deliberate. Between 0 and 30 seconds, we get that playful direct-to-camera hook. By the 30-second mark, we're transitioning into the intro, bringing in those soft morning sounds and meeting Rohan. And then, by the 1 minute and 30-second mark, the emotional conflict is fully out there. The creator moves with just incredible efficiency, going from a high-energy intro directly into Rohan's nerves and shyness. It's designed to make absolutely sure the young audience doesn't lose focus during the setup.
Moving right along to section 2, building emotional stakes.
Okay, so the script outlines this really clear physical and emotional journey for Rohan. First, he's holding his mom's hand super tightly, saying he doesn't want to go. The creator actually notes this should be read with a slow, emotional tone. His mom gives him this gentle reassurance, promising that school is going to be full of fun and friends. Next up, we have the actual journey to the school gate, accompanied by light walking sounds. And finally, step 3. They arrive and are just hit with the chaotic reality of the schoolyard. There's this massive, stark contrast here between his mother's comforting promises and Rohan's deep internal hesitation as he physically gets closer to the thing he's terrified of.
And here's where it gets really smart. How does the script justify Rohan's fear? By using highly specific sensory details. When they reach that gate, Rohan sees kids laughing, kids crying, and kids just running all over the place. The creator brilliantly uses these contrasting behaviors to explain exactly why a shy child would feel totally overwhelmed the second they arrive. It isn't just some vague, generic fear of school, it's a very real, visceral reaction to chaotic, unpredictable stimuli. It just makes his hesitation so incredibly relatable. Which brings us to section 3, the narrative turning point. We are stepping inside the classroom now. Once we're inside, the script literally instructs the narrator to use a slight tension tone. Rohan is sitting quietly in a corner, completely ignoring everyone. When the kind teacher approaches him and asks for his name, he just stammers, Rohan. I want to highlight this specific, hesitant dialogue because it shows exactly how the script builds to peak tension and vulnerability. Rohan is at his absolute most isolated and scared right in this moment, directly before the big breakthrough happens. Think about the sheer emotional weight this poor kid is carrying in that corner. Based on the script's exact emotional tags, his feelings break down like this. He is 50% scared, 30% nervous, and 20% shy. He has effectively walled himself off from the rest of the children. That is a heavy, heavy mix of emotions for a little kid. Framing it this way really helps us understand the massive emotional barrier the narrative has to somehow overcome in the next few minutes. And here is the catalyst. The kind teacher smiles at his super hesitant introduction and simply says, "Let's play a game." The script actually notes that the narrator's tone needs to instantly shift to a warm tone right here. I just love how the introduction of the kind teacher acts as this definitive turning point. Using this simple, warm, totally inclusive line of dialogue instantly shatters the tension. It flips the scene's entire tone from isolation straight into participation. Look at the instant behavioral pivot that happens right after the teacher engages him. We go from a slight tension tone with Rohan sitting quietly in a corner directly into happy, playful music. Suddenly, all the kids are singing songs, playing games, and laughing together. Another boy named Arav actually walks up to be friends, and Rohan smiles for the very first time. It is literally a masterclass in how to demonstrate a narrative turning point for a young audience. It's clear, it's immediate, and it is entirely action-oriented. All right, on to section 4, the happy resolution. Time for that emotional payoff. So the source material specifically drops a bonus tip at the end of the document, stating that kids absolutely love the before versus after feeling change. Before the turning point, Rohan was scared, silent, and nervous. After, he's smiling, playing, and making friends. The script explicitly says, slowly, Rohan forgot his fear. School didn't feel scary anymore. It felt fun. This stark, unmistakable emotional contrast is absolutely crucial for children's comprehension. They really need to see the dark to fully appreciate the light.
To wrap up the narrative arc, the script moves into this evening calm tone as Rohan gets back home. His mother asks how his day was, and with a huge smile, he delivers this joyful declaration. "Mom, I love school." This is the ultimate payoff right here. It shows the complete morph from gripping anxiety to absolute confidence, just tying up the story's internal conflict in a neat, incredibly satisfying bow before the explainer ends. Finally, Section 5, the moral and takeaways. Let's talk about audience engagement.
The creator doesn't leave anything to chance here. The script provides a very specific, simple moral for kids. New beginnings may feel scary, but they can turn into something wonderful. This just proves that even the simplest, most emotionally driven stories require a strategic, purposeful takeaway. The creator isn't just making noise for the sake of it. They're delivering a highly structured lesson disguised as entertainment. They're making sure the young viewer, and let's be honest, their parents, feel real value when watching. Let's actually deconstruct how they wrap this up, because it is highly optimized for YouTube. Step 1. Using a warm, encouraging tone, the narrator delivers the moral directly to the kids. Step 2, they immediately hit them with a relatable question, saying, "Tell me, were you scared on your first day? Comment below." And then step 3, the standard prompt to like, subscribe, and watch more. It just seamlessly shifts the viewer from a warm, comforting narrative straight into a direct-to-camera plea designed entirely to drive channel metrics and engagement. It's brilliant. To kind of bring this all together, I want to summarize the script's explicit bonus voice and video tips. The creator provided these to guarantee the script gets executed perfectly. They recommend using a soft, emotional voice right at the start, adding very specific audio cues like a school bell sound effect, physically showing those happy transition scenes in the animation, and above all, focusing heavily on that before and after feeling change. This gives anyone a practical, proven checklist for crafting their own engaging, emotionally resonant content. Oh, and this is wild. What's also fascinating about this source material is the next level toolkit offered at the very end. The creator doesn't just hand over a script and walk away. Nope, they offer a 30-second viral shorts version, thumbnail and title ideas, a fully translated version in Nepali, and even AI video prompts to help generate the animation. I wanted to touch on this briefly just to illustrate how modern scripts aren't just text on a page anymore. They're actually packaged as comprehensive, multi-platform growth tools for creators. We've seen exactly how to structure a hook, build the stakes, pivot the narrative, and deliver a totally satisfying moral, all wrapped up in targeted engagement metrics. Now, I want to leave you with a thought. You have the structural blueprint in your hands, so what everyday fear will you turn into your next compelling story? Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this explainer. Keep learning, keep structuring, and I'll catch you next time.